Hello everyone, this is lecture 4 of module 1 in a series of lectures that I will be delivering to cover the software project management course at the Department of Software Engineering, Faculty of Computer and Information Technology, Jordan University of Science and Technology. In this lecture, we'll talk about the project management approaches. Regardless the approach, each approach is centered around the 5 project management phases: initiation phase, planning phase, execution phase, monitoring and control phase, and closure phase that were discussed and explained in the previous 2 lectures. The first approach is the phased project management approach. From the name, it is an approach that goes over the 5 phases without any alterations. Lean project management approach, from the name lean, it means we focus on optimizing or minimizing the waste in the project. So during the planning phase, let's say our project that we are planning for requires 100 PC machines to be delivered to the customer as part of the project deliverables. So instead of buying 100 new PCs, let's look at the storage. Let's say we find 30 PCs from previous projects in good shape. So instead of buying 100 new PC, we propose like buying 70 new PCs, and at the same time we reuse the 30 ones that we already have in the stores. That gives us a competitive edge such that we can offer a lower price to the customer because our cost will be lower. Iterative incremental project management approach, the third approach. From the name iterative and incremental, let's start with incremental. So during the execution, instead of completing the entire system, the development on the entire system, and then we deploy it at the customer site, so every time we complete a component, we just go ahead and deploy it, and make it operational at the customer site, and the customer would start using it. And at the same time, we continue developing the second component. Once it is ready, we deploy it at the customer site and we integrate it with the previous one, etc., etc. So incremental means do not wait until you complete the entire set of components of the system. Just every time you complete a component, go ahead and deploy it at the customer site. Iterative, let's say we already deployed 2 components and we started developing the third component. During the development process of the third component, we receive a call from the customer indicating that they have a problem or they experienced issues and problems with one of the components that we already deployed at the customer site. So in that case, what we do, we stop working on the third component and we go back, fix the problem in the previous component that's already deployed, fix it, and then deploy it again. And once everything is fine with that component, we go back and start developing the third component and so forth. The fourth approach, the product-based planning approach. From the name, things start with a set of products that the customer wants out of the project or the final system or solution that comes out of the project. Let's say the customer wants to build a workshop that produces PCs, laptops, tablets, and so forth. So when we start planning for such a project, what we do, we plan and design a line of production for each of these products. So if we have 3 products, laptops, tablets, and PCs, so each of them would have a line of a product. Once we have the 3 lines of production ready, planned for, and their design is ready, then we integrate these 3 lines of products into one system. So the integration will enable us to look at the entire system as one system, and also would enable us to remove duplications. If a machine is used by 2 lines of production of the 3 lines of production, what we do, we basically use 1 copy only and we share it between the 2 lines of production. And that may impose some scheduling issues on us, so the 2 lines of productions would not end up using or trying to use the same machine at the same time. Now, production management approach. On the top of defining the products, we may have a constraint from the customer such that, let's say for the same example, the workshop example, they want to produce 1,000 PCs every day. They want to produce 1,000 tablets and 1,000 laptops. And the lines of productions that we designed for the product-based planning approach. Let's say the line of production for the PCs can produce like 200 PCs every day, and the line of production for the laptop can produce 200 laptops every day, and same for the tablets. However, the requirement or the constraint by the customer, they need 1,000 every day. So we simply create 5 copies of the original design. That's the only way to be able to produce 1,000 pieces of each of them. So each copy would produce 200 of each of the 3 products. The 5 copies of the system would altogether produce 5,000 pieces of each product. So that's why we call it the production management approach. Now, I should mention that so far the linear project management affects the planning and execution phases. The iterative incremental affects more the execution and the monitoring and control phases. The product and the production, both of them affect the planning and the execution phases of the project management. Approach number 6, the process-based management approach. Here we look at the processes. Let's say the student's portal at JUST. When a student logs into the system, what he or she sees like a set of icons. Each icon would refer to a separate system. So instead of designing the applications or the systems each by its own, we look at the whole set of systems as one system, and then we remove duplications of processes. So it will be one system with optimal number of processes, and at the same time provides all services that the student would need. So the same system provides the financial services, the registration services, the admission services, the library services, etc., etc. So all in one system without duplications and the processes, and that would optimize the size of the system, the performance of the system, etc., etc. And definitely that would affect, such approach would affect the planning phase, the execution phase, and the monitoring and control phase. 7, the critical chain project management approach. From the name, we focus in our scheduling and our planning on the critical things. Let's say during the scheduling, I have 2 staff or 2 members on the project who come from an external agency, job agency or employment agency, and that employment agency puts a constraint on us that they are available only during April. So when it comes to planning, critical chain means the first thing I start to plan for or schedule for is the tasks that will be carried on by those 2 guys who come from that job agency or employment agency, and they need to finish all their duties during April. And I fix that on the schedule, then I schedule for all the rest of the tasks accordingly. Benefit realization management, from the name, as an investor or someone who's interested in a project, let's say the customer, they have in mind a certain percentage of profit. They say, I want to invest $5 million or JTs in a project that would return like 5% or 10% of a profit every year to me. Regardless the nature of the project, we look at all possible projects that can return like 10% in a profit to the investor or to the customer, and we take it from there. Earned value management approach. Here we don't look at profit or return values in numbers, in money. We look at moral values. For example, if Just decides to launch a promotion or a marketing project to promote the various programs at Just in this case would not be looking at a profit out of that. However, they would be looking at improving the reputation of the university programs, attracting more students, etc., which at the end would transform into like money value. So when we get more students, means we get more income to the university. So that's all about the different approaches. The first project management approach we explained earlier, so you can look at the details in this slide. The lean project management, again, I have this slide for this approach. The iterative incremental, as I explained earlier, you have this slide to give like more details on the iterative incremental project management approach. The product planning approach, as I explained. The production management approach is explained here. The process-based management approach is expressed or explained here in a few words. The critical chain project management approach, as I explained earlier, some details are here. The benefits realization management approach, again, it's all about how much profit the customer wants to get out of the project. The end value management approach, again, it is here, and it's all about promoting the products or promoting the let's say in the case of Just, as we mentioned earlier, it's promoting the academic programs. That's all for lecture 4, and I'll be looking for meeting you at lecture 5 of this module. Thank you very much.